They told you that your value had a deadline. They whispered that time has outrun your worth, that because you crossed a number on a calendar, you crossed out of destiny. They tried to measure your life by rings on your finger instead of fire in your spirit. But hear me with the ears of faith, not the noise of culture. God never consults the clock before he calls a woman. He does not ask society for permission before he releases purpose. Heaven is not intimidated by your age. Heaven is activated by your obedience. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not an afterthought. You are not a consolation prize in God's plan. You are not waiting for life to start. Life was placed inside you by the breath of the Almighty. Your womb was never the only place God put fruit. Your value was never reduced to romance. Your destiny was never chained to a relationship status. Before a man ever knew your name, God wrote your assignment. Before culture ever defined too late, heaven declared right on time. I speak to the woman who has endured silent nights, unanswered questions, and the pressure of comparison. I speak to the woman who served, prayed, waited, hoped, and still stands unmarried, still believing, still seeking the face of God. I speak to the woman who has wrestled with disappointment without surrendering her devotion. You are not disqualified. You are being refined. God does not waste seasons. He builds you in them. What others call delay, God calls development. You have not been preserved for nothing. You have been prepared for something weighty. You have been guarded for a calling that cannot be entrusted to an immature spirit. You have been separated not because you are unwanted, but because you are needed for a higher assignment. The oil on your life is not for applause, it is for impact. And impact demands maturity, discipline, clarity, and spiritual authority. Do not apologize for your standards. Do not shrink your convictions to fit into broken systems. Do not trade eternal purpose for temporary comfort. A woman of God does not beg for acceptance. She walks in alignment, and what belongs to her is attracted by obedience. You are not waiting on a man. You are walking with God. And when you walk with God, nothing that is ordained for you can miss you. The world tries to make you feel expired, but heaven calls you established. The world says you are running out of time, but God says you are stepping into timing. The world defines womanhood by marriage and motherhood alone, but the kingdom defines womanhood by assignment and obedience. Deborah was not validated by a husband. She was validated by heaven. Esther was not crowned by popularity. She was positioned by purpose. Anna did not waste her years in the temple. She became a prophetic voice that recognized the Messiah when others missed him. God has never limited a woman's calling to her marital status. You are not single because you were overlooked. You are single because God has been guarding your destiny from distractions that could not steward your calling. Some relationships would have diminished your voice. Some attachments would have delayed your assignment. Some unions would have silenced your authority. God does not protect what is common. He protects what is critical. You are not a woman waiting for permission to live. You are a woman commissioned to lead. Your prayer life has depth because you have walked through loneliness and learned intimacy with God. Your discernment is sharp because you have chosen holiness over haste. Your voice carries authority because you have been alone enough to hear heaven clearly. You do not lack love. You have learned to love rightly. Do not allow society to rewrite your identity. You are not a leftover. You are not an emergency option. You are not a late arrival. You are a chosen vessel. You are a steward of wisdom. You are a carrier of kingdom culture. You are a builder of futures, a healer of hearts, a mentor to generations. a prayer warrior whose intercession shifts atmospheres. If God wanted you married by now, He would have done it. Not because He is withholding, but because He is intentional. God never withholds what will advance you. He withholds what will delay you. And if He has kept you, it is because what is ahead of you requires a woman who knows who she is, who walks in discipline, who is not desperate for validation, and who will not compromise purpose for partnership. Stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and start asking, "What is God forming in me?" Stop mourning what you think you lost and start stewarding what you are becoming. Your season of singleness is not a sentence. It is a sanctuary. It is where God builds your voice, your vision, your confidence, your boundaries, your spiritual authority. You were not created to merely be chosen by a man. You were created to choose God daily. And when you choose God, you do not miss destiny. Destiny locates you. The kingdom does not operate on desperation. It operates on alignment. Stand tall, woman of God. Lift your head. Guard your heart. Discipline your mind. Refuse to live beneath your assignment. You are not an accident of time. You are an appointment of heaven. And heaven never arrives late. Your life is not over. It is unfolding. Your story is not closing. It is intensifying. Your purpose is not fading. It is maturing. And what God matures, He empowers. You are a woman single after 40, not because life passed you by, but because God has been preparing you for a dimension of influence that demands a woman who knows who she is in Him. You are not late. You are aligned. And alignment is more powerful than arrival, because arrival can be loud while alignment is lasting. Arrival can be celebrated while alignment is sustained. Arrival can be visible while alignment is invisible, but foundational. A woman who arrives without alignment may stand on a stage, wear the title, hold the position, gain the applause, but collapse in private because her inner world was never built to carry what her outer world displays. But a woman who is aligned walks quietly in divine order, rooted in God's design, steady in her identity, unshaken by pressure, unmoved by comparison, undistracted by noise. You are not behind in life because heaven never measures progress the way humans do. Heaven does not count birthdays, it counts obedience. Heaven does not track milestones, it tracks maturity. Heaven does not ask how fast you moved. It asks how faithfully you followed. You have been taught to fear time as if it were your enemy, to see age as evidence of failure, to interpret seasons as verdicts on your worth. But God does not use calendars to define value. He uses calling. He does not consult society before He commissions a woman. He does not negotiate with culture before He releases purpose. The world is obsessed with speed, but God is committed to depth. The world rushes to display, but God insists on developing. The world celebrates arrival, but God honors alignment because what is aligned with Him will outlast what is merely admired by people. You are not late because God has never been idle in your life. Every season you walk through was designed to build something inside you that could not be produced in comfort. The loneliness taught you intimacy with God when no human voice could fill the silence. The waiting refined your discernment so you would not attach your destiny to what feels good but leads nowhere. The disappointment strengthened your boundaries so you would no longer accept what God never assigned. The unanswered prayers trained your ears to hear heaven beyond emotions. The quiet years built a prayer life, a disciplined mind, a steady spirit, a holy resilience. You are not the woman you once were, and that is not loss. That is preparation. Alignment means your life is in agreement with heaven's blueprint. It means that even when you do not understand the season, you trust the designer. It means that you choose obedience over urgency, faith over fear, discipline over desire. It means you refuse to rush into what God has not authorized simply because you are tired of waiting. Alignment is costly because it demands surrender. It demands that you lay down your timeline, your expectations, your comparisons, your pressure to prove something to people who do not govern your destiny. Alignment requires you to believe that God sees further than you, knows better than you, and loves you more than you love yourself. You are not late because many people arrive early to places they are not prepared to steward and lose themselves trying to maintain what they were never equipped to carry. God will not promote you beyond your character. He will not elevate you beyond your discipline. He will not connect you beyond your emotional maturity. He will not release influence to a woman who still needs validation to feel valuable. He builds you in the hidden place before he reveals you in public. He strengthens your private walk before he entrusts you with visible responsibility. He shapes your heart before he expands your territory. You were not forgotten in the seasons where nothing seemed to be happening. You were not overlooked when doors did not open. You were not ignored when opportunities passed you by. You were being formed. Moses did not waste years in Midian. He was being stripped of pride and trained in dependence. David was not delayed in the fields. He was being molded in worship and courage. Jesus was not absent for 30 years. He was being grounded in obedience before he stepped into public ministry. God does not introduce a woman to impact before he introduces her to discipline. What appears as delay is often divine preparation. You are not late because heaven does not operate on human clocks. God is not bound by urgency. He is governed by purpose. He is not pressured by expectations. He is guided by wisdom. He is not anxious about your future. He authored it. When God seems slow, it is because he is being precise. When he seems silent, it is because he is working beneath the surface. Faith is not the absence of questions. It is the decision to trust God even when you do not understand his timing. Alignment also means protection. Some relationships would have pulled you out of your assignment. Some opportunities would have seduced you into distraction. Some doors would have required you to become smaller than who God created you to be. God does not protect what is common. He protects what is essential. If he has kept you, it is because what he placed inside you carries weight. If he has separated you, it is because what he is calling you into requires clarity, stability, and spiritual authority. He has not been withholding from you. He has been guarding you. You are not late because your assignment is not small. God does not rush the preparation of vessels meant to carry influence, healing, leadership, intercession, and wisdom. You are not called to simply exist. You are called to shift atmospheres. You are not called to occupy space. You are called to transform it. And transformation requires maturity. It requires a woman who knows how to submit to God, how to stand in truth, how to lead with humility, how to love without losing herself. God is not interested in producing women who are admired. He is interested in producing women who are anchored in purpose. Alignment demands discipline. It requires that you guard your mind against fear, your heart against compromise, your body against neglect, your spirit against distraction. It requires that you choose holiness when convenience is available, that you choose prayer when entertainment offers escape, that you choose the word when opinions feel louder than truth. Discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. God disciplines what he intends to entrust. He trains what he plans to use. He refines what he has marked for impact. You are not late because your worth has never been tied to milestones. You are not less because you did not follow the path others expected. You are not behind because your story does not resemble someone else's. Comparison is a thief of clarity. The moment you measure your life against another woman's journey, you begin to question God's wisdom in designing yours. You were not created to live a copied life. You were created to fulfill a unique assignment that no one else can complete in the way you can. Your path is not inferior because it is different. Your story is not delayed because it is unconventional. God does not mass-reduce destinies. He crafts them individually. You are not late because your singleness is not a void. It is a vessel. It is a season of construction, not of emptiness. It is where God expands your capacity, sharpens your discernment, deepens your dependence on him, and teaches you that your identity is not anchored in another human being. You are learning that God is not a supplement to your life. He is the source of it. You are discovering that you are complete in Christ, not incomplete without a relationship. From that completeness, God will release what aligns with his will, not what merely satisfies desire. Alignment means you do not settle. You do not trade standards for comfort. You do not abandon convictions for companionship. You do not silence calling for acceptance. You are not desperate because you are not empty. You are anchored in God. And because you are anchored, you do not drift into what feels urgent but is not ordained. You are not waiting for someone to choose you. You are choosing God daily. And that choice positions you for everything he has prepared. You are not late because God's promises do not expire. What he spoke over your life does not lose power because time has passed. His word does not weaken because circumstances change. If God said it, he will perform it. He is not limited by biology, not intimidated by age, not confined by human systems. He brings life to what appears dormant. He calls forth what seems non-existent. Your hope is not foolish. It is rooted in a faithful God who does not forget his own. Alignment also means accountability. It means you take responsibility for your spiritual growth. You examine your heart. You confront your fears. You submit your desires to God. You allow him to correct you, shape you, and redirect you. You do not demand destiny without discipline. You do not expect elevation without obedience. You understand that God entrusts his work to those who are willing to be governed by his word. You are not entitled to purpose. You are called to steward it. You are not late because God is intentional with timing. He does not move impulsively. He does not release prematurely. He does not place you in environments you are not prepared to navigate. He knows what you can carry, what you still need to learn, what must be healed, what must be strengthened, what must be surrendered. Trusting God's timing requires humility. It requires you to admit that his wisdom surpasses your understanding. It requires you to release control and rest in the truth that God sees what you cannot see. Alignment means you stop despising your current season. You do not live in constant anticipation of what is next while neglecting what is now. You steward your present. You invest in your growth. You cultivate your gifts. You serve faithfully. You deepen your prayer life. You sharpen your mind. You care for your body. You pursue excellence in what God has already placed in your hands. Faithfulness in the unseen prepares you for fruitfulness in the visible. You are not late because God is still writing your story. The chapter you are in is not the ending, it is the shaping. Many women believe life is on hold because a certain milestone has not been reached. But in the kingdom, there are no wasted years. God uses every season to develop the character required for the next assignment. The pain you endured was not pointless. The prayers you prayed were not ignored. The tears you shed were not invisible. God redeems what seems delayed. He restores what appears broken. He brings purpose out of what looked empty. Alignment means allowing God to redefine success for you. Success in the kingdom is not applause. It is obedience. It is not visibility. It is faithfulness. It is not admiration. It is fruit that remains. You may not have the life others envy, but you have the life God assigned. You may not have followed the conventional path, but you are walking in divine purpose. When you stand before God, you will not be asked how fast you arrived, but how faithfully you obeyed. You are not late because your life is not defined by deadlines. It is defined by destiny. God is not rushing you because He is not careless with what He has prepared for you. He is shaping you, refining you, strengthening you, positioning you for a season that will require everything He is building in you. Now, you are not waiting for life to begin. You are living inside God's workmanship. You are His creation, formed for good works, prepared in advance for you to walk in. Alignment requires courage. It takes strength to walk a path others do not understand. It takes faith to trust God when outcomes are not visible. It takes conviction to remain set apart in a culture that celebrates conformity. But you were not called to be ordinary. You were called to be obedient. And obedience is the gateway to fulfillment. You do not have to chase what God has already assigned. You do not have to fear what He has already secured. Your responsibility is not to control the outcome, but to remain faithful in the process. You are not late because God's hand has been on your life since the beginning. He has been orchestrating details you never saw, protecting you from paths you never knew would harm you, redirecting you when you were about to settle for less than His best. Even your mistakes did not disqualify you. Even your detours did not cancel your calling. God is sovereign enough to weave grace into your story and purpose into your pain. Alignment means standing in your identity without apology. You are not too much. You are not demanding because you desire God's will. You are not unrealistic because you refuse to compromise. You are not difficult because you guard your heart. You are a woman who knows her worth because she knows her God. You are not here to fit into broken systems. You are here to represent kingdom order. You are not late because heaven is not in a hurry. It is in control. What God has prepared for you will not pass you by. What is assigned to you cannot be taken by another. What is ordained for your life will arrive at the appointed time, and when it does, you will not be scrambling to become who you should have been because God has been shaping you all along. You are not chasing destiny. You are being led into it. You are not trying to catch up with life. You are walking in step with God. You are not late. You are aligned. And alignment is where peace replaces panic, where clarity replaces confusion, where purpose replaces pressure. You do not have to manipulate doors. You do not have to force connections. You do not have to fear the future. Your life is in the hands of a faithful God who does not waste seasons, who does not forget His promises, who does not abandon His daughters, who does not miscalculate timing, who does not lose control of what He has authored, who does not call without equipping, who does not prepare without fulfilling, who does not align you for nothing, who does not shape you without intention? Who does not guard you without reason? Who does not refine you without purpose? Who does not keep you without destiny? Who does not form you without future? Who does not lead you without vision? Who does not strengthen you without assignment? Who does not position you without plan? Who does not speak over you without power? Who does not walk with you without direction? Who does not carry you without destination? Who does not choose you without calling? Who does not build you without mission? Who does not love you without promise? Who does not write your story without completion? Preserve for purpose, not for convenience. Let that sink into your spirit and shake every lie that culture has whispered to you. You are not single because something is wrong with you. You are not waiting because God forgot you. You are not incomplete because your life does not mirror someone else's timetable. You are preserved because God is building something inside you that cannot be rushed, something that cannot be satisfied by temporary solutions, something that demands maturity, discipline, clarity, and vision. Every moment of waiting, every night of longing, every season of unanswered prayer has been intentional. You have not been abandoned. You have been protected. You have not been overlooked. You have been prepared. You have not been forgotten. You have been fortified. The world has a story it wants to sell you. It tells women that value is determined by companionship, that worth is measured by marital status, that life's fullness is found in another human being. It whispers that if you are unmarried past a certain age, you are late, broken, or damaged. But the kingdom speaks a different language. The kingdom declares that your value is inherent, your purpose is eternal, and your calling is immovable. God never measures a woman's significance by her relationship status. He measures it by her obedience, her faith, her capacity to steward what He has entrusted to her. You are preserved not because the world celebrates you, but because heaven has called you. You are kept not for temporary convenience, but for eternal assignment. Every season of singleness is a sacred laboratory where God shapes your heart, strengthens your character, deepens your discernment, and tunes your spirit to hear Him clearly. Do not be deceived into thinking your singleness is a punishment or a delay. That is the lie of impatience. What feels like waiting is often God's protection. What feels like isolation is often preparation. What feels like emptiness is often a hidden fullness. Some relationships would have destroyed your future. Some unions would have muted your voice. Some attachments would have robbed your calling. God preserves what